evening. Thank you for being here. We apologize for having to reschedule from yesterday. Are we in need of an interpreter for tonight?
No, we're good at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're opening the meeting at 6:45. 2.0 call to order. 3.0 Emmanuel Lopez is not able to be here tonight. Merced Zamora,
Here.
Brady Espinoza, John Alvarez,
Here.
Sabrina Gomez,
Here.
and myself. Don't want to put you on the spot. Will the Freedom Team lead us in the flag salute?
You have to put the trophies down. That's loud.
We'll wait, we'll wait.
We'll wait for all you.
I said bring him and he brought it.
Thank you. 4.0 adoption of agenda. 4.1 adoption of the agenda is requested as presented. I would like, if there is no objection, to move up 10.5 to 6 to 6.0.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
Actually, I'd like to move 13.1, closed session.
13.1 close. Any objection?
No.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Merced Zamora, second by John Alvarez, to adopt the agenda. 13.1 will be going into closed session, and 10.5 will be moved up to 6.0. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 5.0 consent calendar. 5.1 approval of the board meeting minutes for April 29th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 5.2, approval of release warrants dated April 24th, 2025, in the amount of $818,541.35. May 1st, 2025, in the amount of $230,530.86.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by John Alvarez. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 6.0, awards presentations. 6.1, student board member report is not going to be heard tonight. And then we'll hear 10.5, our Freedom Chess Team.
One of the trophies that we won this year. So this is, oh, come on, guys. You have to stand up and show off the bling. I call it the bling, all right? Because we've got lots of bling, and this is just a small representation of my team, and I think I have a couple from Snowden, don't I? Very nice. What grade are you guys in? Second. I'm not gonna get you next year, but I'll get you the year after. And they've got trophies also. Wonderful. So for the Freedom Chess Team, we routinely had anywhere from 15 to 20 kids going just from our school for the tournaments. And we did fairly well. We tied with Dry Creek twice, which is great. They're a Clovis team. So we did really well there. We beat Manchester Gate several times, which is also they're kind of our nemesis schools there. So we did a very good job there. I brought the second place trophy that we got in Corcoran in March. And overall, we did really well. I've got a really strong 4th and 5th grade coming up. I've got just one sixth grader that's leaving, so the rest of my team is intact, and I'm gonna get a lot more from Mr. Sanchez, who does an awesome job over at Snowden. If I didn't have him going over there, I wouldn't get kids who were competitive enough to actually be able to win the way we're winning. So I wanted to spotlight a couple of students. So Jesus here, you can see he's one of my MVPs there. They did a Grand Prix this year where they did an average of how they scored at the tournaments. So out of the 6 tournaments, they play 5 games at each tournament. So his average was a 3.75, so almost 4 out of 5 at his tournaments. Luis Medina, my 6th grader, isn't here, but he got 3.63 and one of the Grand Prix trophies also. Julian Pineda didn't make it tonight. He was 3.5 out of 5, and he was actually new this year. So he just jumped right in there. Jesus vetted him. He said he was good enough to be on the team, and he was right. He's like, no, Mrs. Sickles, he's okay. Zoe Rivas is here tonight, along with many of her other trophies, and she was also a 3.5 out of 5 average. Valentina is here. She's a 4th. Now, these are 5th graders. She's a 4th grader, and she was 3 out of 5. So that's out of 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. So she was one of the younger ones in the section. Logan Silva isn't here. He was 3 out of 5. And then I had a couple of others who also had winning, like more than half their games won. So we have a really great team, and I really want to thank the board and the district for their support for the chess team, being able to take the buses up there and supporting. We have the tournament fees every time that we have, and we just really appreciate your support. We weren't able to do state this year because of the way they scheduled it. The sections they had would have had us playing against Snowden again, and our 6th grader wouldn't have fit, and it just didn't quite work out. But I'll be looking at that next year and maybe contacting them to see if they will go back to the older way they had it. But yeah, so it was all great. So go ahead and clap for yourself. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You guys can sit down. I know. Run. Oh, sure. Do you want to? Yeah. Okay.
Do you want us to go down or
Let's take a
or
picture
stand
with the
behind?
school board. School board, would you like to take a picture
Oh,
with the
you
chess
guys
team?
can stand.
Yeah, and then we can stand right behind you.
You could almost stand like right up here.
Well, I need to stand behind.
And the side then.
Stand
on your chair.
quiet. Make sure I'm not behind the tallest one. Where am I?
We got our kids here. Oh, you gotta line up with the yes. Okay, excellent. Oh, you funny guys. Okay.
Silly faces.
Don't move yet. All right, so now I'll get one for that you can have for the website.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
What's the chess piece?
That's it. It's, like it's supposed to be a king, I think. Is that
This
the
is
Grand
something
Prix
I
one?
will never
Inner
have
debate.
because I'm
I think
not
that
as
might be
smart
the
as
Grand Prix one out of, out of 100 kids, he was 12th place. Out of the 100 most,
That's wonderful.
the ones who came to the most tournaments in 4, 5, and 6. Well, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Mr. Zamora, did you have anything to say?
It takes a lot of effort on what you guys do, a lot of dedication, and I definitely appreciate it because again, you guys are putting Farmersville on the map. Because now they know that whenever you guys show up, you guys are a team to be, to be recognized and to be a little bit feared. So by all means, keep on doing it, keep on kicking some butt. Good job, guys.
Appreciate you guys' hard work. You represent Farmersville Unified School District every time you go out there. Good sportsmanship, right? And I've seen you in work. You guys are great, right? Keep up the good work. And always back up your teammates. Pick them up when it is.
Good job. I can't put my mic up. And keep recruiting. Keep recruiting kids and bringing them on and teaching your friends and representing Farmersville. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Yes, you make us all very proud. I'm sure your parents are also very proud of you. This is something that not everyone can do, obviously, not me. And one of the reasons I haven't attended is because you're supposed to be quiet, and I'm not sure I could handle that. If you guys are winning, I'm gonna be cheering, so, but we are very thankful that you guys took this on, and we hope that you guys continue for years to come, because this is something, that's a very good way of learning things and challenge. World is a challenge, so you guys keep on doing it, okay? Good job.
And I just want to say, Mrs. Sickles, thank you. I know Mr. Sanchez isn't here either, but your dedication and the time and effort that you place with your students is, I mean, it's unmatched. So thank you so very much. And students, continue. We also are going to start a chess club over at Farmersville Junior High School. So I think that that's the plan, so that you guys can transition right into it, okay? So I see your big happy faces. Continue doing the great things, okay?
Yay.
All right. Thank you for coming tonight. You're welcome to stay, or if you want to do your homework early, you can go ahead and leave and do that. Thank you.
Parents, thank you so very much as well.
Thank you, thank you. So excited for them.
Okay, we'll move on to 8.0, public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any agenda item or other item of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board before or during the governing board's consideration of the item. The board is not able to discuss or take action on any item not appearing on the agenda. Pursuant to board policy, the board may limit individual comments to no more than 3 minutes and individual topics to 20 minutes. Please begin your comments by stating your name.
The board asks that during public comment, everyone be respectful of the speakers. Members of the public should not interrupt or interject while another person is giving their public comment. During public comments, there shall be no use of foul language. Should a member of the public have a concern about a specific employee, we ask that you direct those concerns to myself after this meeting so that the concerns can be handled through the proper procedures. Please do not use employee or student names during public comments. We do not have any cards that have been
No
presented.
cards tonight? Okay. Mr. Superintendent, would you like to make comments?
Absolutely. Good evening. Our goal at FUSD is to continue working together to improve learning conditions and overall TK through 12th grade instructional alignment. As we get closer to wrapping up another successful school year, I want to thank FUSD staff for the dedicated efforts to providing effective instruction and learning opportunities for Farmersville students and families. Your commitment, care, and hard work do not go unnoticed. We are grateful for each and every one of you. Some highlights we definitely want to talk about. CAST testing. Our students are continuing to test this week and next. We are excited to continue to see the progress that Farmersville Unified School District is approaching steadily when it comes to student learning. And then WASC accreditation. Before I start, I just want to do a quick little applause because this is a big deal for us, okay? We are proud to share that the Accrediting Commission for Schools, Western Association Schools and Colleges, which is WASC, has officially restored full accreditation status to Farmersville High School through June 2029. We want to thank Farmersville High School teachers, staff, and the site leadership for working together and submitting an accurate and meaningful report. Your hard work, dedication, and contributions to the accreditation status is an important achievement for Farmersville Unified School District. So another applause for that one there. And as always, we look forward to continuing to support the growth and success of all of our students at Farmersville Unified School District. Great things are happening. Farmersville up.
Thank you, Superintendent Mendez. We'll move on to 10.0, K-8 issues. 10.1, ratification of professional development at Snowden Elementary School on April 30th, 2025.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Is that correct?
Correct.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 10.2, approval of donations to Snowden Elementary School ASB account.
Motion.
Second.
You have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by John Alvarez, is that correct? I assume so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 10.3. Did we get that?
It is missing in the package.
Is it
Yeah,
still?
it's,
The revisions.
I got a blank piece of paper.
yeah. I saw it,
Yeah, so,
we needed a copy of that one, yeah. Not the transmittal, the actual page, well, yeah, the transmittal.
She put it on the transmittal.
Uh,
The changes, she has it on the transmittal.
we don't have the transmittal.
So the transmittal is online, please forgive us.
Oh,
Yeah, it is online there.
We don't have a transmittal.
Okay, I know I saw it, can you please tell us what that transmittal indicates?
Perfect. So the transmittal's K, it issues, it's an action report. Excuse me, it's an action. Background summary, Bank of Sierra requires the following information to be reflected in board minutes before signers can be added or removed. Ms. Suzanne Simon, teacher as a signer. Mr. Joshua Alvarado to be removed as signer. The recommendation for the board is to please approve the signature revision. This was presented by Mrs. Paz.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? Please, make sure we each get a copy of that.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 10.4, approval to dispose of outdated materials for Hester Elementary Library.
Motion?
Second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 10.5 was already heard, did not require a motion.
Do you have a blank? Okay,
For that-
making sure.
For that one supposed to be.
Okay.
I thought I s-
No, I got a blank paper.
Oh, no, I have mine, it's right after the blank.
No, I have my 10-5, I just had a blank paper.
Oh, okay, so you do have 10.5.
Yeah.
It's to remind us of the scratch paper we use for CAS testing.
Okay,
Scratch rule. 10-6.
okay, we already have that, okay. 10.6, approval professional learning group for Save the Children, May 28th through 30th, 2025, at Wonder Valley Ranch Resort in Sanger, California.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 11.0, high school issues. 11.1, approval of ratification of adult school CCAE 2025 state conference in Fresno, California on May 1st through 3rd, 2025.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 11.2, approval of CASA's Adult School Summer Institute Conference in Anaheim, California on June 9th through 12th, 2025.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is that a 4-0?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I heard something. 11.3, approval of FHS senior grad feeder visits to Snowden, Hester, Freedom, and Farmersville JHS on June 3rd, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. We're doing okay? 12.0, curriculum. 12.1, approval of Step Up Youth Challenge Agreement.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 12.2, approval of UMASS Global Agreement / MOU. UMAS.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 12.3, approval of TCO-ERS Library / Multimedia Services 2025-26, agreement number 260006.
Motion.
Second.
Question.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. You have a question?
Yeah, I assume that the cost difference is because the, secondary libraries don't need as much literature as the little ones, is that what it is?
If I heard the question, the Kate, Hester and Snowden have, I think it's about $20,000 as opposed to the 5.
But,
So the idea of K-3 schools, I'm sure was taken into account whenever the ordering of books, making sure that each site had sufficient to supplement for the extra grades that are gonna be at each site.
Okay. We have a motion by Mercedes Zamora, second by Sabrina Gomez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 12.4, approval of FUSD Library Book Expansion Project.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 12.5, approval of agreement with California Teaching Fellows.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. Thirteen point zero personnel, 13.1 is going into closed session. 13.2. Approval of classified personnel, item 13.2.1 through item 13.2.4.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 13.3, approval of extracurricular personnel, item 13.3.1 through item 13.3.1.
Motion.
Was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Sabrina Gomez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
abstain.
We have 301 with Mr. Alvarez abstaining. 13.4, personnel action report, information only. 13.5, approval of declaration of need and statement of need for 2025-26 school year.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Sabrina Gomez. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-all. 13.6, California School Employees Association, CSCA, initial sunshine proposal for collective bargaining agreement negotiations, 2024-25, information only. 13.7, acknowledgement of the district's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association and chapter number 518 regarding collective bargaining agreement negotiations for 2024-25.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-all. 14.0, board business. 14.1, consideration of any item any member of the board wishes to have on a future agenda or provide a written update. Is that
None at this time.
John?
Bond issue again?
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that we have, all of our students on track, you know, to graduate, to promote, and, if there aren't any, are, you know, be taking all measures to make sure that they're getting the help they need, summer school or anything.
Would you
Just
like?
an update on that.
Just an update?
Written
Okay.
update?
Yeah.
So summer school, and again, we have our RTI presentation coming up next week, or
Okay.
next school board meeting. Maybe we can add to that what we do with those students that aren't meeting the mark and what we provide, our response to the intervention.
Okay.
Are you asking for numbers also or not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe all secondary principals have already turned in their slides. They're all gonna be talking about what we do with their tier 2 and tier 3 students.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you could just go back, on the prior agendas to see if there's still something that hasn't been covered, that was requested by any of the board members, please.
I do have a running list on my whiteboard. The bond report is coming up.
15.0, business services. 15.1, approval to purchase forklifts for kitchen facilities and food supply unloading infrastructure at school sites.
Motion for discussion.
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez for discussion and a second by Merced Zamora. Mr. Alvarez?
Yeah, you know, I know what we're trying to do here, but, we're moving into a new project that,
I'm not sure they can hear you all the way to the back.
I understand what we're trying to do here. This is down as low as it goes. I got nothing, boss. I'll just talk very loud. Okay. So, in either case, I understand what we're trying to do here, but, we've actually, created a bond to build a new cafeteria and expansion and things of that nature, and we haven't moved forward with that at all. And it's great, forklifts, I mean, we've been here for 25 years, I get it, it's easier, right, easier to load and all that kind of stuff. But, I always like to try to begin with the end in mind, which means, a total plan, okay? I see the metal building, where it's gonna go, I'm not really sure. I understand you need a place for storage, which we have the same number of kids we've always had, so I don't know what the deal is there, but I think we're kinda getting the cart before the horse, and that's just my opinion. I'd like to have a little more detail on what this is, and the funding comes from the kitchen fund, which in many cases is transferred over from the general fund to support that kitchen fund. Is that what it is, kitchen fund?
Actually, not, but
What's that?
in the past, it has been that way, but
Yeah.
we're not in a position anymore. We're in a very positive financial position that Mr. Monroy can address. Sure.
Yes, please.
Turn your mic back on, let's see if it does that.
Testing, better, much better, thank you.
You too, Michael?
Michael, Mrs. Gomez, can you check Mrs. Gomez as well?
I'm okay.
Try it again.
Well-
Yeah, go ahead and try it now, try it now. There you go.
You know, I do want to share these.
A bit lower. There you go.
We'll just turn it off.
A little lower.
Okay.
Okay.
I do want to share, these were fixed, we worked through them. My assumption is someone came in and played with the knobs earlier, so, I do apologize.
Well, I gotta give you something to do when you're here.
Hey, agreed. You know,
All right.
Turning the radio dials isn't enough.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'll use my choir voice, my teacher voice. So for the 15.1, the funds that we're proposing to use were grant funds that we got about 2 years ago. And so the state of California pushed out funds through a grant called the Kitchen Infrastructure. And so the purpose of that grant money is for schools to upgrade existing facilities in the cafeteria. So whether it's dishwashers, ovens, freezers, including some of the ones that you see on here. The purpose was to go ahead and replace those really outdated appliances, and so we've kind of hung on to them, right? And so now we're trying to use them up. We're trying to be strategic to upgrade based on what our staff or director have recommended on what the needs are at the sites. And so here you do have a list of these items. The forklifts are going to help us to unload inventory. Our director, Mrs. Mendoza, is trying to get us into these new partnerships where we're going to be receiving additional like commodities foods. And so those usually come in large loads because I think we get them maybe once or twice a year. And so whether it's things like black beans, which are not super popular with the kids, but these are commodities that we get, and they come in large cans, and so we get these big trucks. And feel free to add anything that I'm leaving off, but I know that we'll need this sort of power to unload and move things around. We're really trying to focus as we move into the future on our inventory and storage of dry foods.
Mr. Monroy, can you also address what Mr. Alvarez had talked about, the transfer from general fund to support the kitchen fund and where we're at currently?
So and that's a great question, because I think for many years, Farmersville Unified, as well as many other school districts, as you probably can recall, in the fall, we would come to you and ask you to allow us to move some funds over from the general fund into the cafeteria fund. So for Mr. Merced, and maybe those that are not aware, this was something that became somewhat of a practice, and it had to do with cash flow. And so as we are starting to submit claims for reimbursable meals, August, September, those payments would probably not trickle in until maybe November, December. And so we had to support the cafeteria fund to pay for salaries and benefits, food expenses, by loaning money from the general fund into Fund 13, which is the cafeteria fund. Well, that's a few years back. Over the past couple of years, the state of California has really moved to try to get more students to be covered under our nutrition programs, and so that has expanded the number of students that qualify for free and reduced or reimbursable meals. And so what that's caused is that it's really caused us to be able to report and claim more meals, and so we're getting more payment for those. And so what I project will happen over the next few years is that old practice will go away, and we won't have to come to you in the fall to ask you to help us loan money from the general fund
into the cafeteria fund because my projection is that the cafeteria fund will be self-sustaining. So that means through the reimbursement of meals, we'll be able to pay for salaries, benefits of staff, and also for food, for milk, and other infrastructure needs that we might have. You know, right now we are seeing that the reimbursements are healthy to the degree where we will have to come up with a budget over the next year and start planning, you know, probably on purchasing additional equipment to replace outdated equipment through the cafeteria fund. The funds that we're talking about today are these grant funds that will expire at the end of this school year, so June 30th. And so we want to use them up. And then into the future, we're going to continue to assess reimbursements and see, you know, plan for a self-sustaining fund for the cafeteria.
And we're also going to keep in mind that these funds are just intended to use for a specific items. They're not intended to use for the structure or buildings. They have to use for equipment, anything that's going to help services, improve the services to the students. So there's a lot of requirements. When we apply for grants, we have to detail every single requirement that it's allowable for us to spend and use that money. We could only go solely for that intent, which is, you know, improve the equipment, cooking equipment, transportation equipment. So anything that is gonna be helpful for the safety of the staff, because we don't have tally decks. So we have a very old tally deck that it makes it very difficult. We're moving into getting a co-op, which like Mr. Miller said, the formalities are, it's an entitlement that the state provides to every district. It's $174,000 worth of food. So they give us canned food, beef, cheese that come in bulk. So previously, they would drop it out here, 15 to 20 pallets every shipment. So, yeah.
To assist you, just let you know on equipment, forklifts, we have one forklift right now for the whole district. But sometimes we gotta drive that forklift across town so we can have safety again. We're gonna have safety, have that secondary, where we actually get our main drop off is at Hester. When the big food service truck comes on in, they'll be there and available at all times. The product that, you know, having to make sure that it is safe to move from one location to another when it's on the ground. That'll be a part of it too. Dry storage, we make sure we locate it where it's that'd be somewhere safe and accessible to the main kitchen as well. So that's the purpose of the, you know, the temporary, what we call it temporary dry storage, for now to get us up and going.
And the reason behind the dry storage is because right now everything's been stored in food trains, which is not best practices because we have to store big quantities of canned goods. So they have a life, you know,
Shelf life.
And if heat comes around, those cans can get pretty bored if it's food. So my best practices has to be in a big dry storage with the cooler that is gonna provide the freshness to keep the equipment. And, you know, just also the ice these cans, they get into the sea trains. I mean, you guys are welcome to come by at every site and take a look at the conditions that, you know, we have been dealing with for years.
Is everything on this list approved through the KIP fund?
Yes.
Yeah, so we did vet everything on the list provided by CDE. And so, the ask is to help us spend down this money by June 30th on these very targeted items that are gonna support the operations of the cafeteria for all the reasons just stated.
Yeah, and then the other reason that we don't spend that money, we have to use it. We can't use it.
We do have a second list coming probably too.
I was gonna ask, do we have money left over to
Yes.
spend on other
So
stuff?
we're looking at, like she says, kitchen equipment, ice machines, the age of our equipment right now, ice machines, steam pots and stuff like that.
Well, this would have been on this transmittal, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Where the money's coming from.
It says KIT fund.
Yeah, I know, that, to me, that means kitchen fund,
Explanation.
right?
Oh,
It doesn't say grant award, it doesn't say anything like
Okay.
that, it says kitchen fund, and in the past,
Yep.
kitchen fund came from the general fund.
Yeah, I say it makes a big difference if it's coming from
Yeah, it
grants.
does, and then,
But
then too, you're saying that we could build a dry storage, right, construct it, concrete, cover it, cooler, and all that kind of stuff. Don't need any DSA, don't need any,
Yeah, this is like.
Permits or
like I said,
anything?
we always look to the future, right, so we wanna make something permanent.
right,
We're gonna get
so
it
does that have to go to
right.
DSA?
No.
Because of the fact that it is
It's
not for the
temporary,
students?
yes.
Okay, where's that gonna be at?
It's gonna be located for the dance track fences behind kitchen.
You're talking about Freedom? Of the high school?
So just for the high school, yeah.
Where the,
Where the
So
current
street
C trains are
street
located.
training will be relocated to a different location, it'll be put in place right there, right behind. the
so it won't be next to where we're hoping to build the cafeteria?
No.
No, not at all.
No, thanks for the explanation. I did have a lot of questions regarding why now, you know, and but obviously you guys has expressed the concerns on.
I just
on
do
the
have
phone.
one more thing. We have our expert forklift driver over there. What is the possibility, we're buying forklifts, right? What do we pay to have those forklifts come out free of class? Every, yeah, and that's $5,200. And that's for years to come.
I think it's a different forklift, isn't it, or is it the same one that
Well,
we're?
that's what I'm talking
We
about.
offer the basic forklift certification, so during that instructional too, we have to make sure that when they do instructional, that our forklift meets the requirements for safety.
Exactly.
Right, so sometimes they'll do instructional, say, listen, what forklift you want, use the forklift.
Do we know what that is?
Yeah.
Do we know what it is? The required forklift,
What type of forklift?
the required, the ones they're using?
Oh, it's a regular basic forklift, right, so, the sit down behind, regular forklift. We do have another forklift, which is actually a different design. It's a forklift, we have different attachments to it, so they call it A-bands. So each forklift can be from lower to be, lower, so that is one of the ones that we're using, the sprayers. So you're gonna utilize that because of type of use, where it's at, so.
Let's be very
20
cognizant
foot.
that the grant fund has specifications on how the equipment the board is going to agree to use that has to stick to that filter.
Alright.
Actually, one more.
The explanation.
The maintenance on it, is it covered or is that through somewhere else?
Maintenance.
It'll be general maintenance,
General,
yeah,
okay.
we're gonna have to do general maintenance, yes.
And the training for it?
The training
Yeah.
for the units or?
No, the training for the forklift, because I'm assuming they all have to go through a training, right?
Yeah, John, we have John certified, we have actually, our, Keenan comes out and does the training with all the people certified.
Okay.
Yes.
We have a safety course through Keenan.
Cool. Good?
Is everything good?
Good
Yes.
now.
Any other questions? Okay, I think, yeah, one of my questions was, where's it gonna be at, and who's going to train to make sure that everybody is trained that will be using them?
We'll put everybody through his training course over there at Deep Creek.
Keenan, they come out, they inspect our equipment, we do a course, and then we get certified. Yes.
And this will make it so we have at least one at every site, correct?
Yes, sir. My data students are certified as well too, so they'll be able to drop offs on the sites.
Okay, Mr. Alvarez, you made this for discussion only.
Yeah, I'd like the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora.
Thank you.
Thank you, three. Thank you for the
Thank you
explanation.
very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-0. 15.2, approval of Farmersville High School campus wide fire alarm system upgrade.
Motion for discussion.
Is there a second?
Second. Oh.
We have a motion for discussion by John Alvarez and second by Sabrina Gomez. Okay?
Go ahead and start. One is the bond funds. I mean, We've been discussing the bond committee for some time now, for months, and, I understand we cannot use the bond committee. I understand that we could just spend the money if it's approved by the board. But I really think this needs to be vetted through the bond committee and done properly. And I really would not like to see the bond money spent for this, when we're trying to build something, and that was the whole point of pushing the bond, was to build a cafeteria. We made promise to the community, and everybody who lives there is paying taxes. I know I'm paying triple taxes for the purpose of doing what we said we would do. So that's just my take. I would rather this, come from general fund, but that's just my opinion. And that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Zamora, do you have any questions?
Same thing. I was just wondering to know how we're gonna pay for it, just because again, the cafeteria issue, it's been a big thing that we wanted to build for a very long time, and I just don't know if we're gonna have to delay on the cafeteria, if the money from that is being spent on something else.
Ms. Green?
Same question.
I just understand that the fire issue, what we're spending monthly, and it is a big issue, and it's a safety issue, so that would be more like an emergency type of situation, and we need to use funds. And I believe if you look at the bond,
The bond
bond,
specifically talks about safety.
the bond, covers safety. And do we want to deplete our general fund for this thing that is really a big issue as far as safety? I don't know. I don't think that we should wait and take it out of the general fund when, that's something can be covered under the bond. But,
You don't think it should go to the bond committee?
it doesn't have to go to the bond
I
committee
understand it
because
doesn't
that's
have
on,
to go.
because the bond committee is there to make sure that we are spending it correctly. If we didn't spend it correctly, then they would have an issue.
Right.
But that, if we don't go to the bond committee first and ask them, they review our expenditures to make sure that they fall under them.
That's why we've been waiting for the list of the bond activities that we said we would do. We still haven't got it. I understand exactly what you're saying. Again,
Okay, how long would it take to get this back on? And
We're 2.5, almost 3 years without a fire alarm at Farmersville High School. I think we can wait one more week,
another month.
or
like
2
a
more
roll
weeks,
out of it.
or until the next board meeting to discuss if that's what the school board would like.
Yeah, I think I would like to as well, because of the fact that we're representing the community here, is, have some people come in, have a bond committee here, and discuss this openly. I get it.
well,
it's
I
a-
think,
get
first
it.
of all, start out with, providing, them with the list
Yes,
of what was agreed upon for the issue, for the money to be used from the bond.
and the priority of that list.
And,
Mr. Monroy, do we still have that binder located?
And I'm looking
Yeah.
at Measure Z
Mm-hmm.
details now, but I can
Let's,
send you a copy.
yeah,
of it
let's,
and share.
would you like a list provided to you by the end of the night?
That would be great.
Perfect.
And then, if we wanna get it on the next agenda, that'd be fine, but I really think we need to notify the bond committee, right? Get them involved in this. I don't wanna be spending money and then they come in after the fact, and then we're fighting the community because,
how about if we do this, because, why don't we have, the bond committee invited to the next meeting?
exactly.
Because we don't want to have them have one meeting and wait for their meeting and then have ours, because this is something that's urgent.
Yeah,
So,
Been
Mr.
2
Mendez, will
years.
you invite the
Yeah.
bond committee to the
Yep.
next meeting? Provide all of us with a copy of
The list?
the list from the bond. If we can get the one that was actually printed for public, at the election, that would be the best, because that shows exactly what the people saw.
Yeah,
And,
I will make
the
a
last-
binder for each school board member, and that'll be ready
Last-
for you guys tomorrow
Yeah,
morning.
the last thing is, Tony, the contract was supposed to start pretty quick, right?
Yes, we are trying to, we are actually on board right now. The reason why, the timeline with the contractor.
It was like June,
we
right?
approved tonight,
Okay, so, question on the bond. Can money be transferred from general fund, bond into general fund?
I don't believe so. Yeah. But I'd have to double check on that. That's something I can report back to you on.
Okay, then the other question would be, can we run it out of general fund? Can it deplete us, put us out of business, or what's the deal?
If the school board would like for us to run it through the general fund, we can. Yeah, I think our sole purpose of using the bond was because it was explicitly stated that it was a safety.
Understand that. It's been 2 years now. And we haven't done zero with the bonds in 2 years. And our first
So
First
are you,
objective should be what's on the list, so how about we make the list, we go through the list, and then we start firing the list off, so we actually know where we're going.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes,
So here's one option. We table this and we get everything for next meeting.
Huh?
Or two, if you want this to come out of general fund, then you can make the motion that it come out out of the general fund and see if there's a second and sufficient.
okay, I make a motion, we take it out of general fund.
Is there a second?
So, give you my concern. My concern is obviously I understand the safety behind this, and no matter what, I will go with safety, but I also understand that grant money and bond money almost parallel each other. So if you tell the community, we need this for this, you kind of have to fulfill that. I understand that there's some verbiage in between that allows freedom to manipulate those funds for other high priority, but that's not the intention of it. But again, I understand that different verbiage is added, again, for safety. Predominantly, I don't know where this is gonna come from, if it's gonna be from the grant or from the general funds, but I think it's something that we do need to move forward with the fire. So the sooner the better. I just don't know right now where the funds will be coming out of.
I can give the board a copy of the full binder by the end of this evening via PDF, so you can scan it if you'd like, or tomorrow morning a binder, along with the printed copy that was made for public when the vote was set for the bond, and then also the priority list, because it's there, it's in the binder.
How about I make this motion, since I think, we don't have a second. I motion, we move ahead with the contract, okay, and we get the funding thereafter. I motion, we approve the contract, and we'll discuss the funding, table the funding until we do what we're gonna do. That way we can move forward. If it has to go to general fund later, or we can, then we will. If not, it'll go to the bond. But move forward with the contract. Is that-
Second with that.
So what I'm, what,
Advice is already
Yeah.
approved.
so what I'm hearing is, excuse me, Tony, so what I'm hearing is that we are, if the board agrees that we're gonna move forward with the contract.
Yeah.
The issue or the concern is the fiscal impact, whether it's coming from general fund or from the bond. So we wanna move forward because it's a safety
Yes,
thing
that's
to make
correct.
sure that the alarm is done, okay? So then on the next board meeting, we're gonna bring this back up and specifically talk about where the
Funding.
funding is coming from.
Yeah, so that's my
Correct.
motion.
Okay, so it's either going to be the general
Yeah,
fund or
with the
bond.
committee, correct.
With the bond committee.
Yes,
So I motion,
second.
Okay,
third, okay.
okay, so we have a motion by John Alvarez that we proceed to move on with the contract. The matter of, the funding will be tabled until the next board meeting, where we shall invite the bond committee to also be present to present their, I don't wanna say opinions.
So I think what we're saying is, if you don't mind, can I interject? The idea of re-bringing this transmittal up for discussion again with the bond committee present, so that they can have their input
On the funding.
on the funding.
It's already an approved contract,
Okay?
okay?
Sorry about that, Alice.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 17.0, future meeting dates, 17.1, May 27th, 25. I will not be here. Sabrina's going to be running that meeting. And And I'm gonna be gone the whole week, so I apologize to everybody that has events that week. I'm taking some time off. And then we have June 10th, 2025, and we need to add June 24th, 2025.
24th, that'll be the last meeting,
Yes.
25.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm easily thrown off because it's two-sided, you know, we're not used to this kind of stuff. 20.0, adjournment to closed session at 7:41 to discuss 20.1, conference with labor negotiator, GC 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and to instruct its agency designated representative, Manuel Mendez, name of organization, FTA/CSEA/management. 20.2, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, government code 54957. 20.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D, 2, and E of section 54956.9, case. Thank you very much for coming. If you want to stay.
Thank you, everybody. You guys have a fantastic Wednesday. I'm not sure
Okay, we're going back into open session at 8:33. And go back to 13.1, approval of certificated personnel, item 13.1.1 through item 13.1.2.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. 21.0, action taken on closed session items. 21.1, conference with labor negotiator, GC 54957.6. Is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and to instruct its designated rep, agency designated representative Manuel Mendez, name of organization, FTA/CSEA/management. No action. 21.2, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, government code 54957, no action. 21.3, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D, 2, and E of section 54956.91 case, no action. 22.0, adjournment at 8:34.
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion by John Alvarez, second by Merced Zamora. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for all. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Here.